And so this mom here drowned her two children, and it was found that she is mentally incompetent to stand trial now. It doesn't mean that it's over. If she goes to the hospital and treated and she gains competence, then perhaps they're going to go for a trial. But who are to be blamed for these women acting out like this? I blame all of us. Um, it seems as if I'm not sure what is her problem, whether or the part of her brain that is responsible for whatever is underdeveloped, and this had been so forever, or whether everything was good and she started using some drugs. You know what I've discovered also? I've seen some women around, and you could see that probably they're educated. But then Harry Potter looks as if he's educated. You know that wizardly look, and they're going around in circles, and you see as if they're having a kind of a uneasy relationship with something invisible. And right away, my perception tells me that they're into some evil. I recall in Toronto, I saw this black lady. Her eyes are kind of rolling, and every now and then I'm seeing the white of her eyes, which was unusual. And she was in the bus shed. I was over the road, so I went over and said, "Hi, how you doing?" I started a conversation with her. She tells me she comes from Africa, and I think I asked her, if she's into voodoo or something like that. She said, yeah, she's into, that kind of paranormal stuff. And she says that, well, she came from Africa, she doesn't have no friends here, and so she found this thing fascinating, and it's a kind of companionship and so on. Now, I don't believe that, because in Africa, basically, they have voodoo over there, so maybe she was into voodoo over there, and she just come and trying it over here, and perhaps she you see, voodoo sets up something in that she doesn't feel comfortable dealing with people who aren't evil like her, and so on. So, some way, somehow, devil isolated her, and she went into more of it now, and it's getting to her. So, this could be another way of unstabling the mind. They got into this evil, and they become hearing voices and seeing things and so on. And don't doubt them, they're seeing things, because I recall in my country, as a child, I was about 9 or 10. Some students said, "Look up, look something in the alley," and everybody backed up from the alley. So I got me a bottle and a stick and a stone, and I go in the alley, and I gone up where they said the thing was, and I saw nothing. When I came back out, everybody breathed a sigh of relief, because they thought I would be killed in the back there. We call them Baku. And sometimes they say it's a short man, which is a kind of thing they're trying to say, these UFOs, kind of thing. All right. But from some of the evidence we have now, these giant skulls, big like a car, it's clear that man was created a little lower than the angels, and these things that they're seeing is our angels. They could manifest themselves in any kind of shape or form, right? And so for them to be seeing short things like that, that's not the exact stature of this UFO or evil situation. So one guy told me, though, in Puerto Rico, and he's from the Caribbean, you understand the thing, and he has the Guyana lingo and so on, saying that, hey, when a man says he's seen a Baku, it's only that man that could see it, because that Baku is working for him. In other words, people make pacts with the devil to do things to them. They want to get rich, they want your house, or they want this woman over here, whatever they want, and they make this pact with him, and he has them doing things for them, for him, and the devil has them doing things that he wants them done, and he's going to do things to them. Sometimes some people say that we have money always, our money is only run low, but we don't get broke. So every day they go into this room to finding money. I mean, the Bible says, what does it profit a man if he gains this whole world, and loses his soul? So it doesn't matter. I prefer to scrun than to get that kind of money, and you're still ain't gonna be happy with it, because that is only an enticement. When you go beyond, and they got you in a crowd of demons, in the middle of the crowd, and they start beating you up, you can't get 2-3 places out. You're dead in there. So to entice you with candy and ice cream and honey, to take you in the middle, away from God, away from reality and so on. So I'm saying that these women that I see, and perhaps with men too, they go around in circles. They've been messing with these kind of spirits. They're reading the evil books, they're reading the magic books, they're into all kind of yoga thing from India and from Africa. They're reading all this thing and so on, and it starts to unbalance the mind. Now I don't understand it. I don't know what happens in the mind, but they're not normal again. They become psychotic because of seeing things, they're hearing things, and medication sometimes helps them. So I don't know what really happens. Okay, so this lady here who drowned her 2 kids Could she have been involved in some evil practice, reading books and practicing voodoo, that kind of evil and stuff? And even if somebody is mentally ill, I mean, let me look at this thing rationally. This is your child. You can remember the whole 9 yards, the experiences, they birthed this child. Why are you going to drunk them? For what reason? I mean, you're supposed to love these kids. They bonded with you as soon as they took them from the vagina, they put you on your chest, they hear your voice, they know your face, and they kept you alone with the baby for a long time. So whenever the baby sees you, he smiles and so on, because you feed him and take care of him, and the whole 9 yards. And how it is that this person now will want to harm these things, and we've seen it happening a lot. The woman tried to drown our kids in the a minivan in the Daytona Beach there in the Atlantic Ocean. We have this lady drove the car with our kids in the some river up north and blame it on a black guy. I mean, they're doing so many things now. They're choking them to death and so forth. And the Bible predicts this, that in the last days they're gonna even eat the kids. They will be, and how did they come to this way? Apart from the evil that they may practice, and Satan wants to traumatize kids so that each child would say, I wonder if my mom would kill me. Now, that's a bad paranoia to be into now, an obsession. Is my mom going to kill me? I mean, that's the last person you would want to think normally would want to kill you. Your mom. Your dad might hurt you, your brother might hurt you, others, but not your mom. Don't mind how you're ugly. Your mom still think that you're special and precious. I mean, whether you're ugly or smart or whatever, it's the same experience. She had to go through this birthing thing, all this pain, all this kind of, all that stuff, So she loves all her children. I don't know if she has favorites, whatever. I am not a woman, so I don't know. All right, and so apart from they're getting involved in this paranormal, this evil that could cause this mental problem, then some might be even born with some deficiency. And I'm saying that I don't understand how, in spite of this inability to really function, they're going to want to kill the kids. Now, I know that the mind is a function of the intellect, the conscience, the emotion, the will, and all that stuff, and the conscience is important. And if that part where the conscience operates is kind of a problem, and if they hadn't been trained, because people think that children are born with a variety of different things. No, but they're born with an ability, some innate things like sucking and an ability to trust, this female that they place with and they imprint with and all that stuff. But the other things, they have to learn how to chew properly and how to eat and how to walk, perhaps even that, how to dress, and most things the girls have to be taught about themselves. I mean, whether she knows or not, she's going to go puberty, menstruation, but education is so important, so that there are a lot of things she needs to do. So maybe the conscience is not right, and there was no education. And then I'm saying that if this person with this diminished conscience, location in the brain and all that stuff, but if this person were a godly person, introduced to God at birth, and God has fallen up with this person, perhaps he might repair that part of the brain, who knows? Or his guidance is of such that the person will not harm others and self. See? So, but then apart from all that now, society today, we're creating experiences where women are fighting one another, whereas they should be working together, because it's not that women against men, but women have an important role to play in life, and men can't do it. And so it's not because you're a woman it's automatic you don't know these things. Older ones pass it on. I'm sure women do things today that came from Eve. Eve taught it. Who taught Eve? God taught Eve. The angels taught Eve. I mean, Eve just born. How she know about delivering babies? How the first babies were delivered? Because there might have been two born, Cain and a brother, a sister. Okay. I mean, look this thing that's have to be teaching them girls with birthing, push, take a deep breath, push. I mean, she did it. Okay, it seems. No, of course the body could have been different, but God and the angels were there. So a lot of things the women know today came from Eve, but they have to pass it on. Okay. Then we have these women now want to be into military situation. They want to learn, train to kill, police and army and all that stuff, and that is so contrary to the nature. So again, you have a woman going on and killing, shooting at people and so forth. She is going to have much more PTSD than a man. Because we men, we're evil anyway. We're gonna do all kind of stuff from small. We start killing them frogs and them flies and them butterflies and whatever. Women just try to preserve life all along, coming up and so on. So when we train them now to be killers, it's gonna give them some serious mental problems because this is contrary to their nature. Some other things we're doing, shows are produced by evil people, and the shows are to create certain things that even they themselves don't even know what's going to do, but they're just evil, and Satan tells them to make this show, and it's on. You have a show, for example, called Lifetimes. My girlfriend in Florida liked them, and when you look at the show, you could see all it's about showing that women should hate men because men are bad and men abuse women and children. I mean, and so many other shows out there that I have not seen. I don't soap operas, women throwing punches at men and so on. And it's only a crazy woman who wants to throw a punch at her man and fight with her man. Women are usually there. They don't want to be hurt. They're tender. They want to be told nice things and to be, gentle with them and to be calm and to treat them right and so on. And even though they do things that ain't right or that you didn't want, so on, that she has a good heart and she was really trying to do what is good, but maybe she doesn't understand. So you work with her and say, honey, this is the way perhaps it should go and so on. But we in society, we're creating this thing, and then some men too. For example, you might take this nice woman you see down the road and you took her by you, to live and all that, marry her and everything else. And you tell her, look, girl, I don't like living around here, but I'm poor, and I got to stay on the side of this track until things come up. Now, maybe we could work together and things could come up and we could come so we can move over the tracks also. But you see these people around that I live here, they might be good. I mean, hey, I'm not judging them or nothing, but they do stuff that I don't want you to get involved with. Women normally start over by them and then they end up prostituting in the street, become drug addicts. They leave the family and then they throw them out after a while, and they made such a bad that the family can't go back, and so they're on the street for the rest of their life. Or they're married to this guy and then they start to smoke with them, and then they start having sex with her, she's high, and then they need more money, and then bring in somebody to use her, and then when she gets bold enough she go on the street and you come and you see her in such a shape, you're saying, baby, look, I told you about these folks here, man. Why you ever listen to them? Why don't you just stay inside and go to the library, go by your family, go somewhere? Don't hang out with these people. I told you about that. You're destroyed. I mean, hey, you might love her so much, but I mean, you warned her. And what can you do now? She's out her head. She's out there selling herself on the street. She has a man that thinks that she belonged to him, and now you come talking to her, you could get killed or whatever. You know what I mean? So, but those people there are the ones that let her and set her up in this stuff and make her into a beast. Now, she isn't good to herself or her husband or kids or nothing, So sometimes when we see these people in these positions, the law will be fulfilled. She has to be tried, found guilty. These are the consequences and so on. And there's no getting around that. But sometimes if we understand these things and give these things some thought, perhaps she mightn't have had to be in a situation where she drowns her two kids. Perhaps if her parents hadn't introduced her to Halloween. Maybe if they were checking her room and see she has all these romance books instead of studying the Bible and studying her lessons, and she got this Ouija board over there, they bought it to her for her birthday, and she's not studying her schoolwork. She's reading into all these various voodoo and all this mystery stuff and all that, and they won't tell her that, girl, this thing is not good for you, etc. And then she hook up with some husband who's treating her bad and won't even try to help her to be a better woman, telling her that you must be able to listen to me and talk football to me. Hey, just get along, listen to what she has to say. And she doing her thing over there, you watching football. You don't have to make her have to appreciate football just to get along with you. She doesn't want you to understand everything but the vagina or womanhood, so to have a conversation with her and so on. I mean, we have to understand that. We have this understanding, she has that understanding, and there are ways that being overlap. Let us deal with the things when we're together where we overlap. Kids, about safety in the society, yada yada. But I'm extreme things like boxing and wrestling, you can go by your guys and deal with that. When she want to talk some stuff that ain't got a place talking about a man, or you don't want to learn that because it's not your domain and stuff. She can go and talk to that with her sister and them on the phone, or girlfriends or whatever, you know. I recall when people come together in parties, the women used to go in the room by themselves, the men outside by themselves. Now we hanging out together, they're drinking and they're smoking, doing drugs, you know. So I mean, who do we blame for this situation? But hey, it's not a matter of blame. It's a matter about how the future is going to be. Are we going to continue having, you know, these kind of things happening in the future? Let us stop and look at it and make some changes now, or else I'm telling you, you won't like to see that kind of future where women are kind of destroyed and they're not being who they ought to be. Man, it's going to be horrible for the kids, for you, the husbands. You know, it's going to be a bad day.